Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're not rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. We got a good one today, y'all. I said we got a good one today. Y'all, we talking about, somebody said that Dawn Staley's getting a statue. Is that what I heard? Is that what's being said? The one and only Dawn Staley's getting a statue in Columbia. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that old 3-on-3 competition that's going on in Arizona. We're going to talk about that, and four of our ladies are participating in that, and Khadijah Sessions is coaching the basketball team. Bring them all comers, so you can get beat down and dealt with on the West Coast. We can talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks needs for the class of 2026. I've been talking about for a while. I've been saying for a while that South Carolina is that 2026 class in high school is going to be so important for the South Carolina women's basketball team, the three-time national champions, but also it's going to be important for the transfer portal because we're going to be losing quite a few players in that mix come April once this season is all over. We're going to finish up talking about some WNBA preseason, which begins on Friday night. Oh yeah, we got a good one tonight, y'all. We got a good one tonight, y'all. So let's begin with this right here. Let's begin with this. Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley is the unveiling of the statue is happening April the 30th. That's tomorrow, y'all. It is going down for the one and only Dawn Staley. So we have to begin there. Dawn Staley has been a fixture. She's been a guiding star, if you will, for the South Carolina women's basketball team since she started out here. Now, with that being said, now we ain't trying to. She just signed a new contract, so she ain't going nowhere now. She ain't going nowhere. So she's gonna be here for a minute. But we have to. I am all about giving the flowers while they're still here. Why do we wait to give flowers out? Why is that the big thing? Now we're gonna get flowers out years from now when Dawn is old and you can't get up the steps and all this that. No. We got to celebrate right now. We got to celebrate right now. And it's amazing how this thing is being done when the unveiling's going down and then her book tour is starting and all those great things. We've got to celebrate our queen every chance I get. Matter of fact, we got to celebrate all the queens. All the queens. Every chance we get. I'm not getting myself, my mama, wifey Will, my daughters, my sister. We got to celebrate everybody who's a queen. Dawn Staley has done so much for the University of South Carolina that I don't even know where to begin. But I start with this right here. She has brought so many eyeballs to this basketball world and women's basketball. So many fans who stumbled upon women's college basketball because of Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley made it cool. Real talk. She's made women's college basketball cool. You got 50-year-old brothers like myself who's ruling the roost in the barbershop talking about Dawn Staley. That didn't happen 20 years ago. You wouldn't be talking about women's college basketball in the barbershop. You wouldn't be having those discussions. Those discussions that's going on now. You wouldn't be having lead stories talking about this South Carolina women's basketball team on ESPN and Fox Sports and all the different networks, and things have changed. And I like to say things have changed because the one and only Dawn Staley has changed them. So yes, she deserves a statue to stay up in Columbia for all days, even after all the days are gone. That statue remained there. I believe that completely. So we celebrate Dawn Staley. Salute to you. That old 3-on-3 basketball nationals event that's going down this weekend, May the 2nd through May 4th, and our very own, you talking about Tessa Johnson, you talking about Chloe, you talking about Maddy McDaniel, you talking about Joyce Edwards, who all will be participating in this event by USA Basketball. Khadijah Sessions is holding the clipboard. This is so great. It's so great for a lot of reasons. And one of the particular reasons that this is so great for, because you are honing skills that you don't necessarily always have in regular 5-on-5 basketball. 3-on-3 basketball is very fast-paced. Very fast-paced. And our girls will only get better because of this competition. Now, South Carolina is in team, what's the thing? Pool A. Pool A. And Pool A, you got James Madison, you got Phoenix. Of course, you got South Carolina, you got South Dakota State. Now, South Carolina gonna be playing May 2nd, which is that's when is May 2nd? Is that Friday? South Carolina playing Friday at 6:20 p.m., 18:20 Eastern Standard Time. And then in Pool B, United, Richmond, TCU, Vanderbilt. Oh, yeah. Vanderbilt. Oh, my. Pool C, you got Rise, Fairfield, Valley Heat, Oklahoma State. Pool D, you got Chaos. 3 times BA, Florida, Stephen F. Austin. This is terrific for our girls. Y'all want to see Maddy play? Maddy, we're going to be showing up and showing out in this tournament. I've been high on Maddy McDaniel for quite a while, and I'm going to continue to be high on Maddy McDaniel. And now you're going to see her showcase this weekend. We know how good Chloe is. We know that. We know how good Tessa is. We know all those things. We know how good Joyce Edwards is. We know all these things. But what you don't know right now is about the greatness of one Maddy Mouse McDaniel. And I can't wait to see that on a large spectrum out there on the West Coast. Praying for no injuries across the board in all 16 basketball teams, but especially our South Carolina women's basketball team, the three-time national champions. I don't want no injuries. I don't want no crazy stuff going on. So get all the prayer warriors together and pray for these young ladies as they travel out to Arizona, then come back to South Carolina. We just got to keep it real. South Carolina, the 2025 class and the recruiting class is spectacular. Spectacular. It is you talking about one of the and it's not even about the quantity, because we only got 2 players. We only got 2 players in this recruiting class, but this recruiting class could prove to be an exceptional recruiting class, because I believe both of these young ladies and Agot McCurr and Ayla McDowell are going to be 2 Gamecock greats in the future. I believe that completely. I believe that both of those players are going to be drafted in WNBA in 4 years. That those 2 players have exceptional skill, have exceptional size, can shoot the basketball very well, can play defense, all the good things that we want as South Carolina women's basketball players. I do. But we're going to fast forward a little bit. We're going to fast forward a little bit to the class of 2026. And that class of 2026 is so important for a number of reasons, because one reason in particular that class is so important because we're going to lose quite a few players. And we can start with Raven Johnson. We can move on to Ta'Niya Latson, who we just got. She ain't going to be there. We can move on to Chloe. Chloe's had an exceptional year for the South Carolina women's basketball team, and I anticipate her having a senior year out of this world. We can talk about Madina Okot, who just got here. She's going to be gone too. And then Maryam Dauda, she's going to be starting her second year at South Carolina this upcoming, I guess, summer. You know, but she had that time when she was playing Arkansas for a couple years too. She out. We're going to finish up with a player in Ashlyn Watkins, who is nursing an injury, rehabbing that injury, who could go to the WNBA draft. And the reason that Ashlyn Watkins could go to the WNBA draft because of age. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're 22 years old, you can go to the WNBA draft. That's why Flau'jae Johnson could have went to the WNBA draft because of age at 22. When you add those numbers up, and six of the people, six of the young ladies, six of our girls on the current roster of the South Carolina women's basketball team will not be here next season. This time, April 29th, 2026, 6. And if Gianna Neepkins decides to come to the South Carolina women's basketball team, that'll be 7. So this whole recruiting class of 2026, that transfer portal is going to be spectacular for South Carolina because you got new faces and new places. And it's going to be interesting. The whole recruiting cycle, because we got to hit on these. We've been building. We've been building. This right here is important. That 2026 class is important for numbers on this team, numbers and talent. This is so important. So we got to hit on those players. And the cool thing about the class of 2026 is it is an exceptional recruiting class. You have some ballers in this class. This is going to be great for South Carolina women's basketball team. Make no mistake about it. And we always have transfers. But recruiting is a building block for our basketball team. This is not about, certain teams like a TCU who builds their roster, build the transfer portal. Now, South Carolina ain't like that. We ain't about that life. We build our roster through high school ranks. Then we supplement the roster with talent. We utilize free agency. But this class has to be nice. I mentioned before that Raven Johnson will be gone. So if Raven is gone, you got to have a point guard. And not necessarily a point guard to take the place of Raven, because I'm saying all these things as a caveat, because obviously we got Maddy McDaniel. Maddy McDaniel next year will be our starting point guard for the South Carolina women's basketball team. Make no mistake about that. She'll be going into her junior year, and I expect Maddy to perform so well this year where she's going to be one of those ones that you're going to be talking about of who's that next all-SEC type player, Maddy McDaniel. But we need a point guard with Raven Johnson leaving. So if we're going to analyze point guards, you ain't got to go too far. You ain't got to go far. You ain't got to leave the state of Georgia. No, you ain't got to leave the state of Georgia. Because if you talking about point guards, Raven resides from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, there's another guard from Georgia who's one of the best players in that 2026 class, and her name is Kate Harpring. She is number 2 in the country in this recruiting class. She's special. She's 5'10". Her dad, Matt Harpring, I remember him playing at Georgia Tech. I remember him playing in the NBA. I remember all those things. What I like about Kate is she is one of the best offensive players in this recruiting cycle, but defensively, oh, she a problem. She a problem. She'd be what I call a defensive beast. She is exceptional on the defensive end. And in offense, I mean, she's nice. I mean, there's no way to say anything different. I mean, she's strong. She's powerful. She's the basketball in her hands. She knows how to control the offense. She can shoot. She can do all those point guard things. A lot of folks like to use that term two-way player. Oh, this player is great on the offensive end. This player is great on the defensive end. Well, Cap Will don't use those words as a two-way player. But I will say this right here. If I did use the words two-way player, she would be the best two-way player in this recruiting cycle. It's kind of hard to, I mean, she's already number 2 in the country. Some recruiting boards got her being number 1 in the country. She would be special for South Carolina if she chose the Gamecocks. She got to limit her list. She got to trim that thing down some. There's a whole lot of players out there trying to get the services of the one Kate Harpering. But South Carolina is definitely in the mix. And she's the best point guard in the country in the class of 2026. If you have a situation, we got Harpering, you got Maddy McDaniel, you are having a great time. And then you bring in a transfer portal, or a guard from the transfer portal, you are set at the point guard position for several years. Shooting guard position, because you're gonna have, Ta'Niya Latson, who is projected right now to be the number 4 overall pick in the WNBA draft next season. Should be gone. We can only hope that she gets 25 points per game for South Carolina. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is what it is. But if you're going to replace a player like that right there, you gotta hit them hard, y'all. You gotta hit them hard. And I'm not having a conversation about the number 1 player in this recruiting cycle. Is it Kate Harpering, or was this young lady Sania Hall? Sania Hall, about 6'1", 6'2" from Florida. I think it's Mount Verde Academy in Florida. Cool thing about Mount Verde is that Agot McCurr also played on that basketball team. And you have these quote unquote super teams in high school, but 5-star recruits loaded on these basketball teams and winning national championships in high school level. Sania Hall shined higher than anyone. She's 6'2". She is the number 1 player for a number of reasons, and her combination of size, skill, strength is unmatched in this 2026 cycle. There ain't nobody like her in this 2026 cycle. Nobody. She does so much. She checks all the boxes. Shooting, yeah, she can shoot. Assist, she gets you some assists as well. She's 6'2". Rebounding, exceptional rebounder from the perimeter. She chased rebounds. There was an analysis done by Brandon Clay, recruiting guru, said that she has she chased rebounds like a Jason Tatum from the Boston Celtics, where she eats up rebounds when other folks are just watching them. She is the best player in this recruiting cycle, and we can only dream of having her on this South Carolina women's basketball team. This would be a different next level type stuff if she was to become a Gamecock. And imagine if Kate Harpering and Sania Hall joined the South Carolina women's basketball team. So right at this point right here, April 29th, we can all hope, we can all dream, we can always think about the rainbows and the sunshines and the cherry limeade slushies. We can think about all those great things because it hasn't happened yet. Now, in terms of Sania Hall, again, like Kate Harpering, her list is rather lengthy, but South Carolina's on that list. And I expect us to be in the mix. So this is right here. This is where you have those conversations about NIL. This right here. This is where you have to open up the checkbook. And be aggressive in NIL space for players like Kate Harpering, like Sania Hall, and players that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. Can't be cheap. You got to pay these players. Now, we have this tournament, this round-robin tournament for NIL money that's going down in November in Las Vegas. I don't think folks are really thinking about that. You have teams that are thinking about that because you got some teams that are pissed off that South Carolina's playing in this tournament in November, but you also have some other quality teams that's playing in that round robin of 4, and it's for the share of NIL money. So it's basically a situation where the rich gets richer. I'm not opposed to that because I ain't gonna say I'm opposed to it because South Carolina's in the mix, and in order to have, it's all about eyeballs, it's all about ratings, it's all about advertisements, all those great things. So you have to bring the quality teams that brings in the money to Las Vegas, and South Carolina brought more money to Las Vegas than any other team last year. Okay, I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. We took over Vegas, so South Carolina wins that round robin tournament. We get our share of $1 million. That $1 million can go towards NIL. Know what our NIL can go towards? Helping out getting players like Kate Harper, Sania Hall. This is big business, y'all. This is big business. In South Carolina, it's going to be all 10 toes deep for this thing. Let's go through a few questions, and thank you for tuning in to the Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I appreciate all the love. Thank you. Thank you for hollering at your man Captain Will on this Tuesday night. If you're new to Captain Will, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you comment. Make sure you hit the like button. All those things. Make sure you share. Tell somebody about Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. We are live on Twitter as well. So if you're watching me from Twitter, hit that share button. Let somebody else know who don't know about Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I want to say what's up to BJ Reynolds. What's good with Ernest Branch, Vernon Kelly, Hoover Johnson, my mom, of course, Mama, Adam Ritter, Country Notary. What is good? What's happening tonight? Simone D, just what I needed this evening. Thanks, Captain Will. Thank you so much, Simone, for hanging out with your man, Captain Will, tonight. Kaisha, I hope my girls made the WNBA rosters. They work so hard. And we're going to talk, Kaisha, thank you for the comment. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the chances that our girls got to make the rosters. And I think y'all would dig that. Instincts. It's Vacosa, Big O, considering South Carolina. We'll talk about it in a couple minutes. Farrow X, Olivia Edwards to South Carolina Gamecocks to replace Watkins. Sania Hall to South Carolina to reunite with Agot McCurr. That would be fire. And it would be. Olivia Edwards is a almost a carbon copy of Ashton Watkins. She really is. Similar size, similar jumping ability, similar, strength and instincts and basketball IQ. Olivia Edwards is a higher prospect than Ashton Watkins was. Now, Ashton Watkins was a 5-star recruit. She was rated the 12th best player in her recruiting class. But Olivia Edwards is phenomenal. She's currently number 4. She's currently number 4 in the recruiting cycle, and she would be amazing for South Carolina. She has a big old host of schools that is recruiting her right now, much like everybody else. Yeah, because this early in the process, April 29th, 2025, some of these girls have not cut down their lists. So what's going to happen over the course of the summer, you're going to see those lists get trimmed. You're going to see some commitments. It's going to be fast and furious because it's almost May. So eventually these things going to start happening pretty quickly. And Olivia Edwards would be special for South Carolina. And in terms of Sania Hall, tag teaming back up with Agot McCurd, that would be amazing for South Carolina. It would. Nicole Thompson said, I'm excited for the unveiling of her statue tomorrow. Yeah, that's terrific. I mean, you can't make no bones about that right there. Having Dawn Staley's statue being unveiled in Columbia, South Carolina will be spectacular. I talked about Sania Hall and how great she would be. Jersey Robinson, she's currently the 5th best player in the country. She resides in California. She's a 6'1" guard, has Team USA experience. And one thing I like about Jersey Robinson, she is a straight dog. I love her game. California, but she make that trek from California over to South Carolina. We haven't had a great resume in that regard of players coming over from Cali to come here. But she will be a game changer. And she's second best guard in terms of shooting guard, I would say, in this recruiting cycle. Let's move to players that we have some traction with. Some players that have already cut down the list. Okay. And I have to start with one. That's Savvy Swords. Savvy Swords is 13th ranked, I guess, forward, small forward, wing, however you want to call it. She's 6'2". Same height as our one and only Chloe Kitts. She resides from New York, and she cut her list back in February 2025. She cut it down. So in her list, she has, of course, South Carolina, but she also has UCLA. She has Kentucky. She has Michigan, and she has Notre Dame. So her list is getting trimmed. And a player that's 6'2", 13th ranked in the recruiting cycle, who has the ability to make shots, rebound the basketball, and play with some amazing toughness on the perimeter and set. And that is what we need. That's what we crave at South Carolina Gamecocks. Make shots, tough, physical. Yeah, that's her. That's her. And that ability sets her apart from most of our peers. Most of our peers in the country. What I like about now in 2025 and over the past 4 or 5 years, all the top players play against each other. They play so many different, recruiting tournaments and showcases, and play for the Nike League, play for all these different things. So you see the best going up against the best. And some of those who we perceive as the best don't always turn out to be the best. But Savvy Swords is one of the best players in this recruiting cycle. She's able to space the floor. She's able to hit multiple 3-pointers, and she is a very, how can I say, a very fundamental basketball player. I really like her. I do. She'll look really nice in the garnet uniform. Another player who I would really dig as a South Carolina women's basketball player is Jayla Jordan Jackson. Just the name itself, JJJ. I love just saying the name JJJ. She's 6'2" from DC, Sidwell Friends Academy High School. She's the 8th ranked player in the country. anytime you're from the DC area, I put some respect on your name because I've been there and I've seen the level of competition in that area. And she is special. 6'2". 6'2". And she's limited. She cut down her list. South Carolina, of course, Alabama. You got some Ohio State. Of course, you got Maryland. Got to have them up in there. Miami and TCU. JJJ. Come on here, be a Gamecock. I don't know why I have this feeling that she's going to say she's going to be a Gamecock. I got this gut feeling that she's going to say South Carolina when it's all said and done. A player like that who has great length, mobility, and physicality on the perimeter or in the post. She has the potential to be the best defender in this class. And I know I talked about Kate Harper and how good and she is defensively and a defensive beast, but right now Kate Harper to me is the best defender in this class. But JJJ could be the one. I want her on this basketball team. I want her because I always have his favorite. So in class of 2026, I want JJJ. That's the first one I want. I want Kate Harper. That's the second one I want. So we're just doing three. I'm gonna say three because I could list about 5 or 6 of them, but I'm gonna say those two. And the third one I want is Big O from New York. We're talking about Olivia. We're talking about this young lady from Croatia. And plays in New York. We're talking about 6'4", 6'5" right now. And South Carolina's in her top 7. I think she made her trim down her list back in February. This is the 3rd ranked player in this recruiting class. This is the prototypical type player that belongs on the South Carolina women's basketball team. This right here is the one. If we making tiers, the first player that South Carolina should be all in for is this young lady right here. She the first one. We and then we build from that. She's special. We're gonna say she's 6'5" because she still got another year in high school. We're gonna say that. So I'm gonna go with 6'5". And what I always say, 6'5" is 6'5", but you have 6'5" who can actually play very well. Terrific basketball, you higher on my list than most. She can rebound. She's tough. She can shoot the basketball. She can pass the basketball, and she can play some defense. Oh, by the way, she can block some shots. She number 1 on my list. We have to get this young lady. It is a must because for whatever reason, folks think that there's a whole bunch of 6'4", 6'5" basketball players in every recruiting cycle. There is not. There is not. If you look at the top 60 in the class of 2026 right now, there's only 2 at 6'5" listed, ranked. It's not all about getting that size because you have to have that talent that corresponds with that size. But for the way that we play, we have to. We saw what it looked like against UConn when we didn't have that dominant post presence in the middle. The way that we operate as a South Carolina women's basketball team and organization, we have to have that. And then you can have, because if we would have had that this past season when you can relegate Joyce and Sania and Chloe to actually playing the guard position, you have to you put in situations where you're not in your natural position. Big O, that's her natural position. Adhel Tac is 6'5". That's her natural position of playing center. Madina Okot, why we got so much better with Madina Okot on this basketball team versus some of the other players that we could have potentially had or still might have, because trust and believe, I believe that Dawn Staley is not done. Make no mistake about that. It's still about half the players in the transfer portal ain't said nothing about where they're going to go. But the way we operate, like I said before, this player would be great for us for 4 years. 4 years. We have to get Big O. We get Big O, and we can raid New York and get Savvy Swords. I'm happy with that. But I want on my team, the top 3 right now is Big O, JJJ, and Kate Harpering. Go through a few more comments. And again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hollering at your man, Captain Will. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Especially on a Tuesday night in April. Yo, it was so nice today. Did anybody go barbecue? I did not. My wife made some good stuff over here. So then barbecue. Ate some barbecue the other day, though. Aaron, Maddy is so smooth with her game. JC Abbey would be nice to add to this class, too. JC Abbey is an amazing basketball player. I've been following her career for quite some time now. And again, the list that I'm talking about right now are the top tier, the top of the top, tippity top right now. So JC Abbey is great. You know, JC Abbey is a player who's 9th ranked and got really good size, 6'2", and plays in Texas and all. And she, I mean, come on. I mean, I could talk about this list is so great, man, because you have like roughly 8 players with the same recruiting grade. And of those 8 players, we talked about Sania Hall. Awesome. Kay Harper, terrific. Big O. Olivia Edwards, Jersey Robinson. I didn't even talk about McKenna Willisco. McKenna Willisco, who tore ACL back in January, you know, in the playoffs, who's making, you know, her rounds of official visits. She's going to make a visit to South Carolina too. Official visit. She's already trimmed the list down. And she's a terrific basketball player. And a lot of these players have Team USA experience. And McKenna Willisco is, I mean, talking about 6'2" wing from California. I mean, oof. I mean, it goes on and on. Trinity Jones, another big guard. She out of Illinois. It continues to go. The skill level for girls and women's basketball is off the charts. It's off the charts. Now, what I did not mention is a player from the state of South Carolina who's in this in the group of top level players. Because in this class, the top 2026, there ain't none. There ain't no players from South Carolina who deserves to be, you know, in this list. It comes and goes. 2026 is not the one that we can look at if we talking about high level basketball talent from South Carolina. Now in 2027, that's a change, because you got Miss Hartwell from West Side High School, who's about 6'5". She's currently the 15th ranked player in the state of 15th ranked player in the country, number 1 player in the state, post player, 6'5", 15th in the country. And from South Carolina. Oh yeah, she definitely gonna be a Gamecock. If I had to make a wager right now, she's gonna be a Gamecock. I don't even need to have a conversation about that right there. She'll be a Gamecock. Jose Ramos, captain. Are we getting Gianna? I think last week I said that it was like a 72% chance that Gianna is going to be a South Carolina Gamecock. I am still going with that. I'm still going with that wager. I'm still going with that percentage. I'm still going with that. It just makes too much sense to me that she is going to be a Gamecock. It makes too much sense to me. Gianna shows up. If she commits this week, and this is what I hear, that she's going to commit to some team this week. You really have the chance. You really have the opportunity to, for sure, go to the Final Four. That Final Four with Gianna, with Madina, with Latson, with McDowell, with Agot, is the floor for this basketball team. Final Four is just, we I don't know if you can book it so far out, but you can book it right now and say, like, okay, bet. We're going to Phoenix for sure. Okay. But if you have a starting lineup of Raven, Latson, Gianna, Chloe, and Madina, and then off the bench, you bring it in Maddy, Tessa, Joyce, Maryam, Adhel. Those, it's a problem. It's a problem for other basketball teams. And it's a sensational problem to have because of the talent on this basketball team. But with that being said, because I said before, I'm not going to talk about starting because I don't really care about that. But the top 8 or 9 players on this basketball team, when we play in top level talent, if we go top 9, our top 9 outmatches every other basketball team across the country. And it wouldn't even be close. And that's with or without Gianna. But with her, wow. Ernest Branch said, Trinity Jones is a ball out of Illinois. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And then we already talked about Jordan and Jackson. Jay Taylor, hey, Cap. It sounds like Nipkins is choosing between UCLA and Oklahoma. It'd be nice to have her, but I think we're still good. The receipts tour is still coming. I saw that. And Jay Silly, thank you for chiming in and commenting. I saw that about UCLA and Oklahoma. It tells me, a number of things. If she decides to go to one of those basketball teams, UCLA, how can I say? UCLA lost a lot. They lost the whole recruiting class. They don't have much depth. Now, Gianna is not a player for depth. She is a starter, and she gets a lot of minutes. Oklahoma, the same thing. She's a starter. If it's going to be a conversation about playing time or things of that nature, then no, it is what it is. But if we talking strictly about basketball and going out as a champion, it ain't UCLA and it damn sure ain't no Oklahoma. We just got to keep it real in that one. Aaron said the 2026 class is make or break for the future. Well, it won't break. And let's be clear. It won't break. This is the South Carolina women's basketball team. If we can have a conversation about all different other scenarios of what could happen to this basketball team, but this 2026 class is important from a numbers aspect. But make no mistake about it, the quality of basketball players will be on South Carolina. You know why? Because it's always been. You can never say that Dawn Staley has ever had a subpar recruiting class. And also, here's the thing, y'all. South Carolina dominated the transfer portal. Dominated. We didn't get the volume. So you ain't gonna say, oh, South Carolina, won the transfer portal because we only got 2. Well, you got the 2. And you get the 2, you don't need 6 of them. You just need the 2. And you bringing in the highest scoring player in college basketball onto this team that needed scoring, you check that box. And you needed a 6'5", 6'6" center who averaged a double in 22 minutes per basketball game. We checked that one as well. We did. Chuck Bailey, my brother, we're going to be fine. Gianna will be cherry on top. It's time for the basketball world to learn. What? Squabble up. Squabble up. What's up, my guy? Oh, my gosh. I can never get this chair right. Oh, I mean, probably because I'm getting old, my back started hurting. I got a whole seat cushion, but my back started hurting. Chris K. Dub, Maddy needs to start this year. This woman pushes the ball, is a McBucket, and can take it to the rack. Maddy's the mouse in the house. Well, Chris K. Dub, here's the thing. Maddy is not starting this year. She's not. Raven Johnson's starting this. Here's the thing, y'all. Raven Johnson is the leader of this basketball team. She is the leader. And if we're talking about starting, no. Raven Johnson's starting, and she's gonna play hella minutes for this team, and she's gonna get hella assists on this team this year, and she's gonna continue to play defense the way she plays. I think you're gonna see more of a. I ain't gonna say I think. I know for sure you're gonna see a fast-paced offense by the South Carolina women's basketball team with Raven dominating the pace. I am not going to say that it's going to be more less ball movement, but I will say it's going to be a lot of easy buckets for Latson from Raven Johnson. It's going to be a lot of easy buckets for Madina Okot from Raven Johnson. The assist number for Raven this year will double. It's going to double, and that's despite her having a low usage rate as a point guard. Now, Maddy's going to get time this year for sure. She is the first guard off the bench. So she'll start when it's time to start. Okay? She'll do that. Brian Saleeby, hey, Captain, if we don't get Neepkins, who you think might be our next recruit out the portal? That's a good question. Brian. I'm going to say it like this right here. And I believe this with my heart of hearts. I believe this. If we don't get Gianna, I don't believe we get nobody. I really do. I don't believe we get anyone. I think the team will be locked up. And I say that because, like my man Chuck just said, it's the cherry on the top. It's not the ice cream. It's really like a luxury pick. It's like when you got 2 first-round picks in the draft, and you say, "Okay, I'm gonna get this player, but we necessarily don't need this player, but we're gonna get this player anyway because she is so talented." That's how I feel about her. Is there another? Because then you come in those conversations like, is there another guard to come into South Carolina to get ample playing time? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And I don't want you already got Latson, who's going to play a lot. You got Raven, who's going to play a lot. You got Maddy, who I think is going to play a lot as well. So those are 3 that's going to play a lot. Very similar to the Te-Hina Pao Pao, Raven, and Fulwiley. So that portion is locked up in that regard, while also having Agot McCurr, who's the number, according to ESPN, the number 6 ranked player in the class for 2025, who's going to get playing time. I don't want to stunt the growth of Agot McCurr by having a player in the transfer portal who isn't that much better than Agot. You feel what I'm saying? I don't see someone. You go with what you got, and then what you have is how many McDonald's All-Americans, how many 5-star recruits? Because right now, with the squad that we have right now, I mean, everybody on this basketball team was a 5-star recruit. Everyone. That is crazy. That is like you talking about so many talented players. And Gianna would just be another talented player if she came to South Carolina. But make no mistake about it, it's not a must that we get her. It's cool. It's great. Championship is locked up, but I ain't losing no sleep. I tell you this right here for sure. If she commits to Oklahoma or UCLA, or I ain't doing no special show just because she committed to one of those basketball teams. It's not going to drive me to the microphone. I'm just letting you know. We just move on and let's go. Let's get this thing. Jay Davis said, Cap, what's up, my guy? KLMO24 GG Banks class of 2027 is special. 2027 class is nice. And I've said on multiple occasions that Te-Hina Smith is the best player in that class by a mile. I shouldn't say a mile. That's the wrong term. By a lot. She is head and shoulders better than everybody else in that recruiting class. I also said that Te-Hina Smith was the best player in high school this past season. I said that from like August of 2024. When I saw that girl, I was like, there was a I ain't gonna call it a tournament. It's called a recruiting showcase. And very recently, this past weekend, Te-Hina Smith and her basketball team going against Kate Harper and her basketball team. And I want to say they played twice. They didn't play twice over the weekend. And Te-Hina Smith and Kate Harper were going bucket for bucket. I want to say in one of those games they played, Te-Hina Smith had 37. Now, with Te-Hina Smith, you got a player who they say is 5'6". She ain't no 5'6". Let me make a mistake. She about 5'5", 5'4.25". My wife always talking about, I'm 5'4.25". No, stop it. No. But Te-Hina Smith is unbelievable. And Gigi Banks is great. I think she's ranked 8th or 9th in the recruiting class. I think she's from Delaware. Broken Gregory, hope they hired a better artist than the one they did D-Wade statue. I tell you like this right here, and bro, that was a hot mess. It was scary. It was scary. You can't. that Dwayne Wade statue was one of the most horrific statues I've ever seen in my life. They should be ashamed of that. When they was in the board meeting and they showing renderings of what it's going to look like, somebody should have got slapped. I'm just telling you right now, somebody should have got slapped on site. Like, this is not going to be what D-Wade looks like. He looked like in Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. He looked like Han Solo in the hyperbaric chamber coming out like that. Like, what in the hell money was spent out for that? Just got slapped on site. I would have started it. I would have started the slap. Slap them. Let's talk about our girls. Let's have a discussion about our girls in preseason. Preseason start for the South Carolina women's basketball team on Friday. Okay. We got 3. But we have a lot of Gamecocks that's, scattered around the WNBA. So if you want to find a player, if you want to find a team, hell, let me say that's real. If 95% of the time, if you are looking for a Gamecock, you can find them on 1 or 2 on every basketball team that's out there right now. It's just so awesome. It's so great for us as Gamecock fans. Now, in particular, we're going to talk about our girls who just got drafted. We're talking about Te-Hina Pao Pao, who got drafted by the Atlanta Dream. I got tickets. Oh, yeah, it's going down. Not this weekend, though. I ain't got tickets for this weekend. But with Pao Pao getting drafted in second round to the Atlanta Dream, first of all, there's only 12 spots. For our young ladies, there's 12 spots on the roster. There ain't no G League, developmental type situation. It's 12 spots. So with the Atlanta Dream, they have 15 players in training camp. Okay, they're keeping 12. So it's 3 spots that's quote unquote open or going to be cut. Of those players, those 15, you got 2 draftees, one of which is Te-Hina Pao Pao. Then you got 4 players that were invited to the training camp. So that's a total of 6. So by the numbers alone, Pao Pao has a great chance of making that basketball team. She has a great chance. And that's just straight up numbers and being drafted. And, you know, Atlanta's a whole. Atlanta needs 3-point shooting. They have Te-Hina Pao Pao. They need a secondary ball handler. That is Pao Pao. They need a player who's confident. They need a player who's been there, done that. That is Te-Hina Pao Pao. Te-Hina Pao Pao, more than likely, will make this roster for the Atlanta Dream. I think that's an easy one. I really do. I think she fell into the right position because it is not all about what number you are picked. It's about falling into the right situation. Te-Hina Pao Pao fell into the right situation. And it's time to put the jersey in the cart. And Te-Hina Pao Pao will make this basketball team. The second one that I think I feel very confident in making the basketball team is Sania Feagin. Sania Feagin also got drafted in the second round by the Los Angeles Sparks. Right now, there's 17 young ladies that's in training camp. So that's a bunch. That's a lot of them. And so we're going to cut 5 of them. Now, with that being said, Los Angeles had 4 draftees. They also had 5 training camp invitees. That's 9 new bodies on this basketball training camp roster. I think it looks good for Sania to make this roster. It's been said over and over and over again that she is pro-ready. I think the numbers for them bodes well for her. And then you have the talent base. I think that's 2 for 2 for us as Gamecocks. I think that we're going to see a lot of Sania Feagin this upcoming season. And then back to what Pao Pao, I'm going to finish up with Pao Pao. I think Pao Pao got a good shot at being in the rotation, not just making the roster. I believe she got a shot at actually getting, you know, some good minutes for the Dream. I really do. Finally, with Breezy Hall. With Breezy Hall, they have 15 in the training camp. 15 players is on training camp right now on the rosters. It's just like if you have that many players, you have 3 draftees, you have 2 players that are or training camp invitees. When I did the numbers, you really have 2 players for 1 spot. 2 players for 1 spot. And if I am a betting man, which y'all know I am, if I'm going to talk about 2 players for 1 spot, I will always go with the South Carolina player because it's always defense first. Always defense first. So you bringing that to the fold. Breezy can hit the 3. She's a champion multiple times. I'm going with Breezy Hall in this situation. I think it's a tougher road for her than any of our girls that were drafted, you know, a couple weeks ago. But if we playing spades, I would say 2 definite and 1 possible. And I'm going to call that possible like a medium to high possible of Breezy Hall making this roster. It's fast and furious. They got to cut down these rosters by May 15th because you have some teams that can be cutting down the roster probably Saturday. And this is why they're adding more teams, because you got some very, very talented basketball players that won't be on a roster once it's all said and done. That's the way it goes. It is when you that we need, yes, we're going to be getting up to 16 teams eventually. I believe that completely. But Saturday, Sunday, and forth and going forward, you're going to see some players like who were superstars in college and don't make the roster. I believe completely that our girls have a really good chance of making a WNBA roster. And I believe that Te-Hina Pao Pao has a very good chance of making a lot of waves this year for Atlanta Dream. In terms of LA, with Kelsey Plum, you got Rakia Jackson, you got Cameron Brink, you got Sania, you got some talent on that basketball team that is very young. Very young. But who can't wait for our girls to play again? Who can't wait for our young ladies to play basketball once again? I just not like it's been long. I mean, it seemed like I think I'm still recovering from Tampa. But can't wait. Brian Celebi, if you have the room, why not add to our depth? I would like to see Kylie Kitts for 4 years. I like to see Kylie for 4 years too, but I mean, if I had to make Brian, I'll be real with you. If I had to make a bet right now about Kylie coming to South Carolina, I'd say no. I said no. I don't think she's coming. I don't think she's coming at all. But it would be nice. But I don't see her coming to here. Coming to here. That's wrong. That's country talk right there. Coming to here. Vernon Kelly, Ashton Watkins, a rebounding machine. She's the female Dennis Rodman. In Washington. Thanks, Captain, for just being a realist. Appreciate you. Ernest Branch, 2026 have to get 4 top 20 players, Cam Will. 4. Yeah, I would say 4. I would say 3. Half twos, 3. Really light, 4. Regardless of those, either number 4 or 3, we're going to be active in the transfer portal. And it's going to be what we do not get in high school ranks, you will get in the transfer portal. And that's the way I see it being. I want, y'all already know who I want at this point on April 29th. Now, I reserve the fact. So the ones who've been following Captain Will for quite some time, I reserve the fact to change my mind over the course of the summer. Because you're going to have several players who are going to be committing. You have several players who are going to be cutting down the list. You got several players who are going to show off during the summer and their stock will rise. You have some players who are not going to show off and those players' stock will fall. So as of April 29th, I'm saying I want Kate Harpering, I want Big O, and I want JJJ. Right now, that will change. Probably. Karen Richardson, what's up? What's up, girl? Ernest Branch, Ayla McDowell can potentially be the SEC Freshman of the Year. She's really that good. She presents a good coach, a good problem for our coach. She might not get the minutes, but she's a straight baller. I believe completely in Ayla McDowell. Thank you for the comment, brother. She is a very good basketball player. And I believe that we have 2 players that should be ranked in the top 10 in this recruiting class. They are exceptional. I like Agot a little bit more than Ayla, but it don't matter because we got both of them, so it don't matter. It's all good. It's all good in the hood for the South Carolina women's basketball team. And both of those players are going to produce this upcoming season. How about this right here? I don't even know if it's even been talked about. Isn't Ayla going to play for Team Brazil? And because Team Brazil is playing against some preseason, playing against some WNBA teams in preseason. They play in Chicago. That's going to be amazing. Ayla McDowell is wise beyond her years. That girl she is so talented. She is so talented. And we have her. Like, wow. Aaron said Dawn is just chilling right now. She's happy with that roster, LOL. I mean, Aaron, brother, you just go down the list of our players and is talent amongst talent. You have so many teams that lost so much talent. South Carolina right now on April 29th is a better basketball team that play against UConn. Yeah. We are a better team than we played against UConn. That's scary, right? That's scary. And that's with Watkins being injured. But we are a better team. UConn isn't as great. You lose Paige Beckers, you taking a step back. I don't know how big that step going to be, but it's going to be a step. Might be a half step. Might be a change step. Whatever the step is, UConn taking one of them. Okay? But the South Carolina women's basketball team, the three-time national champions, it took a big step forward. We lost Powell, we lost Breezy, and we lost Feagin. They were all drafted and had the potential to make WNBA rosters, but we gained Latson. Who's better than all three? Just keeping it real. You have to keep it real. This Captain Will, you watch Captain Will to keep it real. If you watching me, I'm gonna tell it like I see it. And Te-Hina Latson, right now, would have been a top 5, top 6 pick as a junior in this WNBA cycle if she chose to get out. Now she got another year. Madina Okot would have started against UConn if we had her. It opens so many doors. Yes, for a while he was on that basketball team. But as it's currently constructed, you got the skills of a Maddy McDaniel, you got a secondary ball handler, and Agot McCurry who played multiple positions. Ooh, I'm so excited. Adam Ritter, captain, what are you going to do without me worrying this summer? Brother, I know you're going to worry. You a worry wart. If that is a term, Adam Ritter, you fit that description. Worry wart. You will find something to worry about this summer. When you see other teams grabbing these players for the class of 2026, like, oh, Cap, who we going to get? Like, bro, we like 4 months before the early signing period. Relax, brother, relax. We good. We good. Don't go nowhere because I'm gonna be here all summer. All summer. Not sure about that. I like that tagline. Not sure about that. Don't forget about Tessa. Tessa is a terrific basketball player. 25th in her recruiting cycle, Minnesota. I think we expected, Gamecock family expected more her sophomore season than we saw her freshman season, but it's kind of like this right here. It kind of stayed like that. Now, her three-point shooting, she is one of the best three-point shooters in the country, bar none. She shot 43% from the three last season. This is the time, because it's competition time. It's competition time. Gianna doesn't sign with South Carolina. Tessa should start for us, because we always like, oh, who's going to start? Who's going to start? She should start for South Carolina. I think that's a good reason, a good a good situation for her being in the 3-on-3. She got to play basketball. She got to get that dog in her. So that group, Chloe, Joyce, Maddy, and Tessa, are creating scenarios, creating situations for future. Not with Chloe, because she's gone. She's gonna be gone after this year. But you got that core that could do a lot of work. Now, I said that she should start. That's what I said. But you're gonna have Agot and you're gonna have Ayla pushing her hard this upcoming season for that starting position at that 3. Now, here's the caveat to that right there. What if Joyce was moved to the 3? Hear me now. What if Joyce Edwards, in all her glory, was moved to the 3 position? So you would have a situation where Joyce, Chloe, Madina, all playing at the same time. That's a scenario too. That's a scenario. I want Tessa to start. I want her 43% shooting ability to be showcased. But regardless of those facts, Tessa's going to play a lot. Joyce is going to play a lot. Chloe's going to play a lot. Everybody from 1 to 8 are going to play 28 minutes to 20 to 28 minutes per game. Chicago Cheetah, we're waiting for a lot of commits this week. We're waiting for several, and it's going to be, several over the next few weeks. We'll see how the thing transpire. Ernest Brand said they say the coach of LA Sports loves Sania Feagin. I've heard that. I heard the staff loves her. These players that are coached by Dawn Staley are different. I mean, Powell said with Atlanta, the defensive schemes and the defensive, the framework of the defense is a lot of things that happened in South Carolina when she went to Atlanta. I mean, so it's almost plug and play. You got a lot of these girls who go to these WNBA teams and on other basketball teams in college that really play defense. So you got to be careful. Or who you drafting? You drafting just offense? Or are you drafting a player who also offensive player who also play defense? Because you will be abused in the W if you can't play defense. They will light you up. They will light you up. Final two comments, Debbie K, Gamecocks all the way, baby. And Aaron, Breezy gotta play hard. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Continue to like. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, you're now rocking with the best. And since you are rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go.